Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to take a break from doing Brick Nottingham Castle and I'm going to do another facade building on the back wall of my Lego room. Now, as regular viewers will know, I've already done a couple of facade buildings. One's hidden from this perspective behind the Grand Emporium and Casino here, and is a building site which this crane is supporting. Another one is Ari's Village Deli, which is here, and I intend to do a full row of them all the way along this back wall. But a new problem presents itself in that some of the modulars in front of the row of facades are getting quite tall, including this town hall, for instance. So I think our future facades are going to have to be a bit taller than that to show themselves in their best light. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and do a office skyscraper using all the pieces from the last few brick halls. So let's go down to the building desk. So the basis of my office skyscraper tower is going to be these lovely bay window pieces with their trans green glass. They look really lovely. You can see that the logo is a police logo, but I'm going to pretend that it's a corporate logo because it is, after all, only a shield with a star in it, so it's not too policey. Because I've also experimented with removing the printing from the glass and it's got sort of mixed results. So I don't hate it so much that I will go through that process in all these pieces, because I've got quite a few. I've got about 16 of these bay windows. I've pretty much bought up the entire supply of them from BrickLink in the entire UK. So if you had a few of these for sale, I probably bought them. Right, so I think we just need to scale these and get going as high as possible. Now I'm going to use this as the basis for the build just while I'm down here on my brick building desk, because this will be attached directly to the green base plates behind the railway line right up against the wall, and that'll be quite a stretch to build it in situ, so I'm going to build it here and then transfer it after I've done. The other thing to mention is that it's right behind the railway line, as we said, but also the tram line, which is about 13 bricks high. So I want to make the ground floor as featureless as possible in a way, just to get things up and running. So I'm not going to use any of these bay windows on the ground floor. Another part that I've actually bought a lot of at the same time, because obviously we want the same coloured glass, are these trans green door pieces with the sort of 3 panels. And these are kind of ambidextrous because you can either put it in the frame that way or that way. And I thought I would start off by using a lot of these on the ground floor to get us, a head start in height. Now, a lot of you will say, well, doors going out onto a railway line, that's a bit suicidal. Yes, it is, you're right, but I'm going to presume that this is the back of the building rather than the front of it, and these are the fire escape doors. And although that doesn't make them any less suicidal, I still need something to get them above ground level. So, we'll just have to imagine that it's a little bit more safe than it actually is. Right, so I'm going to start by using 2 plates as the base for my building, because the base plate that it's going to be built on is green, and therefore I don't really want a green floor or carpet. So I'm going to put on black plates to represent a black floor, because we're going to have a completely black building. And then I've got a lot of these doors, so we'll do them in pairs, something like that, like that. So we've got 2 fire escapes. I'll go like that. Now, I could have used these pieces, which are the window equivalent, and the pane is actually glued into these frames, and they're very attractive, but I need these for the upper floors, and in order to get the absolute maximum height, I need all of these that I can get, because we definitely don't want a door halfway up the tower for people to step out into thin air. So it's much more important that I keep these pieces for that, because these, believe it or not, are even more rare than these. So this is actually the most scarce piece. So then I'm going to put in a 1x2x5 brick, front and back, 2x6 brick, to give us some structural support. Another 1x2x5 on each side. Then to add some sort of porch lights, I thought I'd get a modified 1x1 brick, just with a cheese wedge piece in trans yellow, and a 1x1 brick, just to give that a little bit more height and detail. I mean, you're barely going to be able to see this, quite frankly, when it's behind the tram line. So, and then I will use 2 of these for the sides. And then we've got a ground floor. I'm going to do the insides afterwards altogether, because otherwise I'm going to get tied up in that. So I'll get 2 more of these plates, 6x10. And I know it looks a bit dark and foreboding, but this is President Business's tower, and we all know he's a bit sinister, so there we go. This is the ground floor. Now the other fundamental part is this shaped brick, which ties in with the bay window perfectly, as you can see. So I'm going to put a layer of these in between each floor as well. But these are only 4 deep as opposed to 6 deep, so you can see I'm too shy. So what I need to do is get basically a 2x20 brick along there, and that would be very expensive and very difficult to source, quite frankly, even if it was made up of loads of 10s. So that's why I bought loads and loads of black Technic bricks, because they are a lot cheaper. So if basically I get 3, 4 1x8s and 2 1x4s, I can piece them together using pins to give them strength, sort of attaching them to each other, staggered in this way, and make myself a very sturdy 2x20 brick, which I can then use to complete my floor. And it's fine because the Technic elements will be facing the wall, and obviously there's not much difference on the side, so there's no problem with that either. Okay, so there's our lobby with fire escapes, and then we can start our first actual floor. Right, 2 bay windows. Then what do we need? 2 of the brick, front and back. And this time we're going to need a 2x4 brick to hold those together. So it's like that. Very narrow doorway, but it is a facade, so it's against the wall, so the building really would be a lot more deep than this in real life. And then we'll put a window on each side. And then we're ready to repeat. So here's another one of my manufactured 2x20 bricks. 2 of the special shaped ones. 1. Oh. 2. Now we're already getting out of shot, so maybe I'll move to doing it like this. So I've got 2 windows. Two of these, front and back. Linked with a brick. bay, and a bay. Now I could have done this all in one width tower, i.e. having only all of these on top of each other in one long column, but basically I'd need far too many of these side windows, and arguably it'd be a bit narrow. So I decided against that. I'd rather go half the height and twice the width, and I think given the amount I've got, the height's still going to be quite significant. Six stories. Okay, there we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stories. Doesn't matter what I do, I'll never get that in shot. I've got 2 left, but this one doesn't have the logo. This is the one from the other set that never had the logo. That's 6464 Super Rescue Complex from 1999. So one thing I was considering was having, rather than having a completely flat top, having one of these 2 columns sort of going up higher than the other one. So just having this on this side, and then it would look kind of staggered, which would make it a bit more like the Sears Tower, or I suppose that's called the Willis Tower now, isn't it? Unless it's changed its name again. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need a bit more roof and walling on there as well. And actually thinking about it, we kind of want to be able to get out onto this flat bit. So we could either have a helicopter pad, it's probably not big enough for a helicopter pad actually, but kind of a walkway or a viewing gallery or something like that. So what I could do is have another door there with a window on top. Another roof piece. And I'm going to need a 2x10 brick just to finish that off. All right. Oh, that's long. A long skyscraper. Right. Next is the interior, I think. Okay, so it's quite hard to show you because it's all in black, but nonetheless, I'll try and show you some of my ideas for the inside. So this is just a lobby. So I thought I could put a couple of sort of bamboo plants in, very simple. I'm not going overboard because this is right at the back of the room and right behind about 5 obstacles. So even this, I doubt you'll even be able to see. So I'm just going to put in 2 bamboos. And I thought because President Business is a vain chap, he might have a bust statue of himself. So I thought I'd just put that in. Blocking a fire door, why not? Like that. Now for all the office floors, I'm going to do these all exactly the same. And the reason for that is because I want them all to represent people doing a really boring job that they don't like, and they're all doing the same thing and they don't know why they're doing it and all the rest of it. So it's a really sort of soul-destroying job just for fun. So I think I just put in a very simple desk in each one. Just 2 of these palisade bricks with a 2x4. And on each of those desks, I'll just put an old-fashioned computer. And then at each computer, I'll put a brown chair with a person on it. Now, again, you're not going to be able to see these people, so I may as well use up my least exciting minifigures. So I've got a normal head on this one. It has actually been slightly chewed, but rather than throw it away, I might as well use it here. It's also got a police torso and some black trousers. Now, it's not representing a policeman, it's just representing a person. I've got him with one colour hair. There's another one with a pretty odd looking minifigure head. So put him on there. So this is what I mean. The point is you can't really see anything about them, but you can see that they're there. And that's what I'm going for. So I'll just have floor after floor of workers just working away on their desks. Oh, I've forgotten a computer. And if you've ever had an office job that you hated, then this is pretty much representing that. I want it in a bit. Is that better? No, I think I'll have it central. Okay, just going to move the camera up a little so you can start to get an idea of what I'm doing. And I'm going to do this on absolutely every floor. So it looks really, really repetitive in a good way. Right, so I'm going to do the rest of that off camera, but let's now look at the top floors. So I've just ripped them off so you can see them a bit better. And this is never going to be big enough for a helicopter, but we have got a door out onto it, but we need a safety railing. So sort of, that'll work, won't it? Okay, so there we've got a safety railing, and we could have President Business with his angry face, drinking his mug of Octane extra strong tea. Oop. So I'll be able to see him from absolutely everywhere in my city, and he's obviously lording it over all his minions who are working very hard to earn him some money. So for his desk, I thought I'd get an even bigger desk with a great big red telephone on it and some money and a nice desk lamp. I'll give him a nice black leather chair rather than the brown sort of uncomfortable chair that he lets all his staff have. And he sits in the double height office. So that's where I've used the one without the print. So it looks just continuous. So that looks good. And then because his office is so plush, I thought he needed a chandelier. So all these people have got absolute bare minimum of stuff and he's lording it. So I had the bits to replicate this fantastic chandelier, which you may recognise because it's just the chandelier that's in the BrickLink modular set. That's 10251. So I thought I'd be able to clamp this to the ceiling. Like that. I like that. You can see it from this side as well. Very good. Pity these windows are as scratched as they are, but nonetheless. Just to give you the hint of a lovely chandelier. So that's good, and it doesn't go behind the back, so that's excellent. And then last but not least, I thought on the roof, very flat roof at the top, I'll put on a great big communications dish and maybe a couple of the large long antenna, which tall buildings often have. So So you'll be able to see that better when it's all pieced together again up in the Lego room. So I'm going to finish off doing the rest of the floors with the desks and computers and the minions out of the worst minifigures I've got, and then put it back together, and then we'll put it all together in the Lego room behind the railway line. Awesome. Okay, so we're back in the Lego room, and this is going to be an absolute nightmare getting this beast attached to the base plates behind that row of modulars against the wall. But here goes. Phew, and there it is in position. That was incredibly hard reach. I basically had to sort of climb onto the tables because it's so far back there. I've kind of boxed myself in to a degree. Anyway, it looks really, really fantastic if you ask me. The height is perfect, just above the construction crane on the right and about level with the main body of the Vestas turbine on the left. So it just adds another nice bit of height along that back wall and actually links the main body of the city with the aircraft that are only slightly out of shot up there. So I'm really happy with that. Another thing is the trans green glass, which from some angles looks very dark indeed and is quite difficult to see through, really shows quite well against the off-white wall, and you can really see the people at their desks working away at their computers for President Business. So I'm really happy with how that's turned out as well. And lastly, if anything, those logos, which I wasn't too sure about being mildly policey, actually add quite a good bit of contrast. I think without them we'd just have a green and black tower, and I think they sort of make it pop just a little bit more. So I'm really happy with that. And we can see President Business from absolutely everywhere in the city, and he can see absolutely everywhere in the city as well. Excellent. You can see a bit more of it from this angle, behind the tram line, elevated, and behind the train line, which is beneath the tram line. And it looks rather special. I'm glad I made it that high. I thought when it was on my building desk that maybe I'd gone a bit too far and it was going to be a bit silly, but because the first few floors are completely lost at the bottom, I mean, you really can't see into them at all. You know, it's a good thing that it's that height. And all isn't lost because we'll be able to see those lower floors from tram cam and from train cam. So I look forward to doing that as well. Yeah, I think that looks pretty special. I might even look out for a few more of those window pieces in future. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Next time on Robin Hood Bricks, I think we'll be going back to the castle and doing Castle Hill. That is the hill that the drawbridge lands on out the front of Castle Rock. See you then!